Good morning, everyone. We are continuing here in the Orchis Yosher with these wonderful, amazing verses from Mishlei that Shlomo HaMelech is teaching us the tremendous detriment that will take place to an otzel, to a lazy person. And he continues with more of his berating of the laziness of man. And he writes the following. Omar Otzel, a lazy person says, Ari Bachutz, there's a lion outside. Besoich rechoivos eratzeach, amongst the streets. And if I walk out into those streets, the lion will find me, eratzeach, he's going to kill me. The lazy man is worrying. The man lives in Manhattan. It's a metropolis all around him. There are subways and it's the concrete jungle, which is, as it's called, filled with buildings and cars and taxis and people. He's worrying about a lion on the streets. The lion suddenly plopped down in the middle of 42nd Street and is going to come and attack him. Not such a thing is going to happen. But a lazy man justifies his laziness. He concocts stories for himself. He comes up with ideas, with fantasy, with vision, with illusions that do not exist. Why? In order to allow himself to continue in his lazy ways. Now it's become a sakon. It's dangerous to even leave the house, to go to shul, to daven, to learn, to do a chesed, to help the old lady across the street, to take your kids to school, to go to the gym and work out, to go to the store and go shopping. It became a dangerous world. There's lions on the street. We'll see further. Omar Otzel Shacha B'Darech Ari Ben Chayvais. A very similar verse. And that is, there's a young lion on the road. Now it's not just a big lion, the king of the jungle. There's even a young lion. And then he writes, and a lion between the streets. And therefore, everywhere I look, if I go down the alleyway, there'll be a little lion. If I go down the main streets, there'll be a big roar from the king of the jungle. I can't escape, says the lazy man. I'm better off staying at home and not risking my life by being out on the wild streets that there are. And again, these are mashalim, these are parables. This means that when a person, and think to yourself, all the excuses that we come up with to why it is that we can't leave the house. We live here in a place called Tarzana, California. Sometimes in the summertime, it is over 110 degrees. And it's very hot, excruciatingly hot. And that means that on Shabbos, when you walk out of your house at 8 o'clock in the morning, it's already 90 degrees and you know it's going to be a scorcher that day. What does a lazy person say to himself? A lazy person says, Oi, it's so hot. Maybe I'm going to melt as I walk the shul along the way. You know what? It's dangerous to be on the streets right now. I know that I'm only 21 years old. I know that there's an Eruv and I can carry a water bottle. I know that I can take my hat and my jacket off, or I don't even wear one anyway. I've got just dockers and a nice cool polo shirt to walk me to shul. I know all of that is true. Nevertheless, you never know what can happen. Heat stroke, heat wave, I could burn up. Who knows what's going to take place? And therefore, says the lazy man, I'm just going to sit back down on the couch, lay back down on my bed. I'll relax. I'll daven here in the house. And then we know they don't really daven in the house. I'll sing the zmiros. I'll do whatever I have to do over here in the house. And the whole Shabbos becomes batul and mavutul. The whole Shabbos becomes a whole different experience. Why? Because he allowed his fear and his fright of what might be on the streets, which Shlomo HaMelech is telling us is motivated by the laziness that's really underneath, and he loses the precious mitzvah opportunities that come upon him. And further, the verse writes the following. It says, Hadeles tisoiv al tzira va'otzel amitosai. A door will turn on its hinges, and a lazy person will lay in his bed. Which means, just as you can trust that when you open the door, it's turning on its hinges, you can trust that when you look in the bed of a lazy person, who are you going to find over there? You'll find the lazy person himself. He's extremely predictable in his actions. And again, as we say, it's the month of Elul. It's a month which requires us going against our very nature. The nature of laziness which we fight every single day, because if we give into it, we will not accomplish. We won't leave the house. We won't leave the room. We won't go to the shul and daven and learn the way that we could. We'll neglect the chasadim, the acts of kindness that are everywhere all around us. Why? Because our laziness convinces us that it's dangerous to leave the house. It's dangerous to walk in the heat. It's dangerous to walk when it's too cold. It's upsetting to the constitution when everything is not tempered exactly the way that I want it, and therefore I'm better off just staying at home, air conditioned, comfortable, in the privacy, under my covers, sleeping away the way that I would like to. Let us grab on to the moments that Hashem has given us this month of Elul, Ani l'doidi v'doidi li. I am to my beloved, and my beloved will be to me. And how is Hashem going to be close to us? When we are close to Him. How do we get close to Hashem? Sarizos. Let's act with alacrity, and we will accomplish our goals. Be'ez Hashem. Wishing everyone a wonderful day.